My name is Watts, and I'm going to be cooking for you guys today. The man behind the camera is Bebop, and he is one of my closest friends. And today, we're going to be cooking something called Sammy Cluck chicken. I'm going to make a sandwich out of it, and here we go. We are the flavor masters. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the ingredients we're going to be using today. We're going to use a Vidalia sweet onion. You want it, roughly the size of your hand, the palm of your hand. Make sure it's nice and firm throughout, not too soft, because if it's soft, it's going to be a little rotten and never good. We have your regular everyday yellow pepper. Now this is good because it has lots of flavor, We also have red pepper. I'm going to use red and yellow pepper today to give it a summery feel. You want your food not to only have delicious taste and flavor, but you also want it to have a certain presentation, a certain style, a certain look to it. I'm using roughly around a cup of water today. That's one of the other ingredients. Then we have my barrage of spices. I'm going to be using seasoned oil, ground black pepper, crushed red pepper, garlic powder, some Sazon by Goya, extra virgin olive oil, and some of the tools you need is a everyday knife. Doesn't matter what kind of knife. I like to use this nice long knife. It feels a little more sturdy, a little heavier. It makes chopping a lot easier. It makes cutting and dicing of such products as your poultry easy. I'm going to be using 2 pounds of chicken today. 2 chicken breasts actually, because I love chicken breast. Chicken breast is very lean. It's very healthy. It tastes delicious, and I mean it's one of those foods where you could eat every single day. Things you need to grill with a skillet. Doesn't really matter what kind of skillet you use, as long as you have a skillet. This is a 10-inch skillet. It's nice, has a nice Teflon finish to it, so no food sticks to it. We also have a toast oven. Now, toast oven is completely optional. I like to toast all my breads. It gives it a much more homey smell, and it also brings out lots of flavors from the bread and all the enzymes that the bread contains. Today I'm using a nice fat loaf of bread. You could use also hero bread, loaf bread. Doesn't really matter what kind. I like a nice thicker bread. I like to make, because it keeps in all the juices and the flavors right inside of the bread itself. You gotta take your onion, and the first thing you want to do is wash your vegetables. Just give it a quick wash. You don't know who touched it, how it was handled, or by who it was handled. With the onion, you have 2 points. I call them the north and the south points. You cut those off first, and then you peel the onion off. It makes life a whole lot easier. Give it a nice cut. Another nice cut. You don't need these. You can toss them out. There, the onion. I'm going to give it a nice dice. When you're dicing onion, especially when you're making something that's going to have a really oniony feel to it, you can say, I like to cut bigger chunks. I feel they bring out lots of flavor. So here we go. I'm going to cut it right down the middle. Stand it just like that. So if you by accident have a little piece of top layer skin, throw it out. I'm going to give a another cut down the center from the top now. And that's it. There you go. That's all you gotta cut it. 3 cuts, one down the center of the onion, the fat way, and then from the south end and the north end of the onion. 1 cut. It leaves the onions very big and sturdy. I'm actually gonna take the onion now and put it right on the skillet. I like to break it up as much as possible actually right at this point. This particular dish will actually benefit from not having anything preheated in the beginning stages. Beginning stages, especially this stage. So I'm going to put a nice thick coat of extra virgin olive oil on my onions. I do this visually. You do want to get a nice thick amount of extra virgin olive oil. It'll give you so much more flavor and it'll caramelize the onions even more. It'll give everything a much nicer, cleaner feel to it. Next, I'm going to turn it on. Give it a start. I usually cook at high temperatures when I'm caramelizing the onions, particularly because if you don't, they just will take forever and you'll just be here all day long. Next, I'm going to put my cup of water inside the onions. Just like that. Seasoning. I put all my seasoning before I put everything else in terms of peppers and chicken. People ask me, why do I do this? The reason is once the onions start caramelizing and go through the process of cooking, they're going to absorb most of the spices. They're actually going to change with the onion. The onion is going to become the spice itself, giving everything else much greater taste and much greater feel and texture to it. So I'm going to add my Sazon, spread it nice and even throughout. Pop in a little bit of seasoned oil, seasoned oil. Even though seasoned oil does contain a lot of different spices including pepper, it doesn't contain enough continuity of pepper, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Give it that nice little spice. Although I do love the taste and smell of onions, my cameraman is crying right now. He hates onions. He hates it actually with a passion. But this meal today, he will actually try it, and we'll see how somebody who hates onions feels about my onion pepper chicken. Let's find out. Then I'm going to use some garlic. You don't want to be too cheap with the spices because you do want to give it a nice coating of flavor. Most of the saltiness and the spiciness of it will cook away when you add in your other ingredients. And the last ingredient I used was red crushed pepper. Now, after it starts cooking, you want to cap it off with a lid to keep all the steams and the juices and everything inside the grill. You want that cooking, and now I'm going to start preparing the chicken. So the onions have been cooking for a little while now, roughly 5 minutes. Let's take a nice look at the onions. Yeah, it's getting a nice color and texture to it. You can see all the spices are merging into one. You can see the onions picking up the delicious and beautiful color of all the spices, all the stuff cooking inside of each other. I was originally going to do chicken next, but then I decided, wait a minute, when you cook poultry and you cut poultry, you deal with any type of chicken product or poultry product, you have to be really careful in terms of washing everything you use. So I decided I'm going to cut the peppers now first, and then I'm going to go back to the chicken. So the way I like to cut my peppers, I start off the top, I cut down in a circular motion to get right back to the top. Once I hit the top of the pepper, I take it, I break it open, and I peel out some of the insides, all the little seeds. Then I give it a quick wash to make sure I get all the seeds. Got it at the top again. I'm actually cutting these peppers right now, and the aroma coming from them is just, it's overwhelmingly delicious. I mean, something about peppers gives everything a more summery feel, and it's quite delicious actually. Now, when you're cleaning out the inside of the pepper, if you do have a little bit of the seeds and the inside of it left, it's alright. I mean, the seeds give it a little bit more extra spice and a little more kick to your food. Some people like that. I mean, I personally like that. But you never know different guests who you're trying to accommodate what level of spice they like. So that's why I usually keep around different condiments so people could actually vary the heat. But in general, this is not